This is a presentation of DirecTV, exclusive home of the Red Zone channel, the Fantasy Zone, the Dan Patrick Show, 20 years of NFL Sunday Ticket, the Rich Eisen Show, and America's premier source for sports television.
Hi, welcome to Joy of Painting. I'm Bob Ross. Today, a DP-scape. Got the brush loaded up with some burnt umber and some sage silver, and we're just gonna take it for a little ride there, a little whimsical ride, and how about right there, and just whatever's going right there. And then we're gonna paint the Fritzy fault line that goes all the way down here. But sometimes it gets a little tense because the mock headlines go on a little bit too long, a little tense along there. And then we got some little birds that live here. It's the red-bearded Seton and the jerk-faced Polly, and they're chirping, "You're back, you're back." And, you know, I don't know, maybe we have a little bird here, and he smells the wings and beer. And this one, he says, "Hey, I love my ram, my Dodge Ram." And okay, how about this? You know what? Let's have two little bodies of water out here. Get a little Prussian blue and put them right there. And I tell you what, hey, be careful because there's no lifeguard on duty, and you might get swept away all the way down the river, all the way down to the box score. It starts right now. God bless.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple: C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Howard Collins for box score.
I love Chicago.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles, joined by the Danettes out in Milford, Connecticut. You guys had Browns quarterback Brian Hoyer and Johnny Manziel stand in. The over-under was set by Dan on, 5 minutes on whether he would mention Manziel. Seton, how did he do?
Well, close, but not really even that close, actually. He came in at 345, which I'm actually proud of him for holding out that long. But I knew there's no chance he could go 5 minutes.
Yeah, that being said, I agree with Seton. 345 has got to be a record for Hoyer this season. I'm sure Hoyer was just sitting there dreading it. But if you listen back to it, I'm sure you're going to play the audio. Hoyer kind of brings it up, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly opened the door for it. When he, sometimes people don't even realize what they're doing, but Brian Hoyer said, well, obviously we had a lot going on in the offseason. Oh, all right, great. Johnny Manziel question.
Well, Hoyer did bring it up, but he was not fazed at all when DP dropped the name Johnny Manziel.
To be honest, I didn't pay much attention to it.
How could you not, Brian? It would have driven me crazy.
Don't go on TV. Don't go on the internet. Don't read the newspaper. Don't go on social media. I knew that if I could eliminate that from my life, it would be one less distraction. And, it kept life pretty simple. With training camp, you're so busy as it is, and there's so little time. I wanted to see my family as much as I could. So, right after practice, I'd spend time with them, and then I'd come in, and because of the rehab, I had to do a lot of stuff for my knee, and I just didn't have a lot of time to even check up on it, and it made my life a lot more simple than had I been going on and trying to read everything.
I think I told you guys about my little story with Brian Hoyer. We were at a charity auction, and Brian Hoyer outbid me on an electronics package that had several things, including Apple TV, a brand new flat screen, and he got it for a great bargain. And at the time, it was like we weren't sure if he was going to start, so I'm like, all right, well, the guy probably needs the goods. So I followed up on it. After the thing, I said, hey, how's all the electronics? He's like, oh, it's so great. Apple TV's the best. The flat screens are beautiful. So I sense that something is amiss there. And in the same interview, he said he watched the draft. I don't know. Do you guys think that was legit?
I got to call BS. I know Brian Hoyer's trying to say the right things. I didn't pay attention to it. But for a 26 or 27-year-old man in our country to not use a TV, internet, or his phone for weeks on end, it just doesn't make sense. I'm sure he didn't purposely tune into sports radio nationwide in Cleveland, but I don't know how you would miss it, especially when you're one of the two people being talked about.
Yeah, you got to be curious, and even if you're not, you would think family, friends, somehow someone's going to get word to you if something was said or something in a column or in a newspaper or something. Just very hard to believe that you can totally black out.
But that's got to be a weird thing for a family member. What if you're like his college buddy or like his next door neighbor or his wife? You say, hey, Brian, did you check out this column in USA Today saying you stink and Manziel should be the quarterback? Would you hand that over to someone? Would you let them know? I don't know if I would do that. That's going to be a real weird one to be a friend of his, someone like that.
The only thing he has a really, really young kid, and if you guys remember, when you have a young kid, it is easy to drop out of everything except that kid.
That's fair.
And he's doing knee rehab. Paul, you've done that, I believe.
Yeah, but knee rehab is built for TV.
Well, you need to be like Hoyer, keep your focus and not be distracted by everything around you. Maybe like DP, should he ever be confronted by his man crush, Johnny Manziel, in studio. Would DP be able to maintain, should Manziel ever show up in the man cave?
Well, he did show up early in the Manziel love affair. Now, this was, I think, just the day after the Heisman Trophy in New York City. Manziel came by. Manziel was interesting because he was kind of like aloof. He wasn't really engaged with anyone else. He wasn't rude. He wasn't non-talkative.
Well, he'd just come from the club.
Yeah,
so
he had also,
like...
probably got about 3 hours sleep and was carrying the Heisman Trophy around. And he was a perfectly nice guy, but he was very kind of, it wasn't a memorable experience having him in studio.
You know, I think actually, though, that point in time, though, Paulie claimed Johnny Manziel exclusively.
Because
that was his crush.
That's right. I was hijacked.
Dan has hijacked Paulie's crush, so now all of a sudden that he's known as Dan's guy, sometimes I feel a little bad for Paulie, who's sort of like, there's almost like a bitter ex kind of thing where he's like, you know, he's moved on from me, and where was he when, you know, I was there from the beginning.
I'm the Sherpa who got to the top of Everest first, and what's his name? Hillary just went right past me, ran down, and got the ticker tape race. I'm sitting up there freezing, holding some beef jerky in my hand. I saw Manziel's first game against Florida at Texas A&M. I was there for his first ever college pass, and now Dan's hijacked it.
Loyalties and man crushes, those should be on focus. And Paulie, you know about man crushes and loyalty, as that was put to the test today as well.
Who do you love more, Russell Wilson or J.J. Watt?
Wow, you're going to have to give me time on this one.
No, you have to pick. You go into the room, and they're both there, and they both have their hand extended. Whose hand do you shake first?
Oh, man!
Wow.
Joe. I'm Midwestern. I'm going to go J.J. Watt. Both from Wisconsin.
What if Landon Donovan is there in his Galaxy kit, and you walk into a room?
Oh.
You can hug one of them.
Oh.
Landon. No.
I'm going Landon Donovan. I'm going old school. He was there first.
No shocker there. Initially, the Watt-Wilson debate, I was curious to see what Paulie was going to say, and he went to Midwest with Watt edging out Wilson. But once you throw Landon Donovan in there, Paulie's already got plans. I think he and Seton are going to see his last match with the U.S. men's national team in somewhere in Connecticut, I guess Friday night. So you throw Landon Donovan in the mix. Other than Walter Payton, if he was still alive, I can't imagine too many people on that list that Paulie would
I
go
wanted to
run
throw
to
in two more people, actually, to that. That are a little, you can't call them under the radar, but they don't get as much appreciation for Paulie's crush on them. The first one would have been J.J. Watt. He was in there. You got a little bit more thing.
Other than he mentioned Watt.
Oh, did he mention it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Then how about Kevin Love?
Yeah, I was early on that one as well. I feel that, you know, again, it's like when you like a band and then everyone jumps on the bandwagon, you kind of just step back and...
But Paul, you like Cam Newton early, too. And he's not in the canon.
Yeah, I like Cam Newton, but I never loved Cam Newton. I just saw him as a Heisman Trophy winner. Like Watt and those guys, I'm big fans of how they do things on and off the court. And, but then, if you start bringing up other names like Jason Statham, where am I going to go? Hollywood?
Jason Statham.
He's up there too, right? I mean,
he's a hunk.
Landy, Justin Watt. I mean, who knows who I'm going to pick from day to day?
But though, as far as like the actual logistics of hugging, though, like hugging J.J. Watt, it's like hugging a big teddy bear.
I've never hugged J.J. Watt.
But Landon and Russell are kind of wiry. They're smaller guys. I feel like it'd be more fun to hug J.J. Watt.
Well, McLovin, how about we do this? How about we go around the horn? We're going to start with you first. We're going to figure out your guys' man crushes. McLovin, you are first up. Let's go old school. Your first love is the deepest. Kevin Kolb or Andy Dalton? Pick one of those.
I don't think Andy is much of a hugger, so I'll go Kolb. Cobb's a good old boy. He'll hug anybody. Andy's a little more reserved.
Brock, he loves Kevin Kolb so much, he pitched Kevin Kolb as a guest last week for the show. I was like, that guy hasn't been in the NFL in 2 years. And he calls him Kevin.
Kevin.
How about Kevin?
All right, Sophie's choice up to the front row. Seton, your turn. You made the mistake of choosing the heater over Jeter, but what about David Grohl? Please pick one.
Oh, Dave Grohl all day. Not even close.
Wow.
Jeter would be kicked to the curb. I wouldn't even remember his name. I would be like, who? What? Dave Grohl all day.
Same here.
No, Foo Fighters. Go ahead. Okay, Fritzy, time for you to choose. Tough one here. You can have one John Elway, who we all know you love, or the combo package of Daryl Hall and John Oates. The choice is yours.
I thought Peter North was going to be in this one.
No, my initial
or the Hedgehog.
My initial thought was Hall and Oates, because that's how you get an extra one in there. You get the threesome in there with Hall and Oates. I'm gonna go. I gotta go John Elway. This John Elway still trumps Hall and Oates, Nolan Ryan.
Hall and Oates was there first, late 70s.
They were. Kiss on my list, Private Eyes. Gotta go 7.
Oh, abandoned luncheonette. Okay, way to make the tough calls, guys. Still to come, McLovin pushes the boss's buttons. Surprise there.
We're in the newsroom of the mothership, and Harold's on the phone. He's going, we don't do that on purpose. You know, Junior, come on. We don't do that on purpose. So he hangs up the phone. I said, who are you talking to? He goes, Griffey. He thinks that we edit the highlights together to make Jim Edmonds look great.
Welcome back to the Box Score. You just saw Dan relating a story about the time Ken Griffey Jr. actually called up SportsCenter and said you guys are showing too many Jim Edmonds highlights. Paulie, has an athlete ever reached out to you guys and said you're talking about another guy too much?
Another guy too much. That's a tough one. I have to think about that. But rarely do athletes complain. We usually get it more from coaches.
Or analysts. Remember Rich Eisen complaining about a certain booking decision?
Yeah, Rich Eisen was bumped once for Dan Bickley out in Arizona. He's still salty.
That was a misstep by us. We should have done that.
Never gonna.
But yeah, sometimes athletes will hear us talking about, I'll go back, one time, this is my first week on the show, we were talking about Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. This is 2002, and Dan was saying something about Mark McGwire and something about his stats or something about this or that, and Mark McGwire called in on the hotline and said, Dan's got it wrong. I was like, and I couldn't believe it was Mark McGwire. I've told this before, but that was pretty shocking to me. But when you learn that athletes listen and do have a comment about themselves.
Well, that story from the boss led to this argument from McLovin.
By definition, a great center fielder is in great position and super fast and doesn't have to dive. Maybe the diving is not a sign of strength, but a sign of weakness.
Do you think that all of these great catches that he said, let me get a slow start on this? And
no, I just think he wasn't as fast as, like, say, Gary Maddox or Andrew Jones.
He would glide. Edmonds would glide to the ball. Like he
What? Glide? Look at, no way. He's a choppy little guy. He's running like a fullback.
Why are you profiling here that Edmonds can't be graceful and be athletic?
Because he's a short, stubby home run hitter playing center field.
Jim Edmonds was not a short, stubby home run hitter.
It's like Jim Thome in center field.
He was 6'1".
This is great. During the break, before or after that segment, Steve and I had up on our screen Jim Edmonds highlights, and he's literally going over the wall, jumping like 6 feet in the air and grabbing a ball and saving a home run. And he's going, oh, that's not that good. Like, he's just dismissing all
he could have just stood there and
But Jim Edmonds' signature play was the dive behind him in the outfield. He did it like every day. Remember, he would be running after a ball and he'd dive and he'd land. That was his signature play. There's millions of highlights of it. Dude, he should have been standing underneath it. But he was just like, I think he like intentionally got a late start. And you guys, you remember from playing baseball, seeing there are guys like this who would dramatize play.
Running the risk of not catching it just so you could make
I think there are guys who sort of, I think he does exactly what Dan says. I think he holds back a little bit then dives. Sorry. Jim Edmonds, call in, baby. I'm right here.
McLovin, you've been picking a lot of baseball fights with the boss. Why so angry?
I'm a baseball visionary, Brock. There's just no other way to describe it. I see a game that other people don't see. And sometimes I just can't repress my genius.
Please do.
You can only hope to contain him. Okay, stick around. It's Know Your Row. We'll see if that genius runs over into the next segment. Yeah.
The Box Score presents Great Moments in DP Show History.
Give me 2, Utah.
That's Paulie's favorite line.
Thanks for watching Great Moments in DP Show History.
Welcome back to the Box Score. Classic moment there from Johnny Utah himself. McLovin, you're a thespian. Do you think you could hold yourself up against Keanu Reeves on the big screen?
I am literally probably the worst actor in this building, if not the whole world. So I'm not sure if I would call myself a thespian per se.
We were just talking about this, Brock. Steve and I looked at each other. I can't believe we had Keanu Reeves in studio. It's one of those guys, like I've said this before, you don't expect to get Keanu Reeves because there's not a reason to get him. There's not a movie that fits. And the fact that he said yes and stopped by, and he did like 10 minutes on
He took
Point Break.
pictures in the photo booth.
He was so cool.
Like, he was just awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
he was
what a
awesome.
great dude.
Like, if anyone badmouthed that guy, said, "Oh, he's a jerk," I'd be like, "There's just no way that he's a jerk."
Like, you don't know him, all right? You don't know him.
We always go after everyone, and we have high aspirations for getting all the celebrities and all the
Shoot for the
big name
stars.
sports figures on. But just there are certain people that come into the studio there where you try to envision that happening, but until you actually see that person coming in and sitting there next to Dan on our set, and then us interacting with him after the interview, Keanu was definitely one of them where we were like, wow, this is pretty.
That being said, Keanu, if you got nothing to do this Friday,
That
we're
would be
back in
good.
New York City and we have an empty slate. You'd like to
Hockey
stop by.
season starts.
Talk about Youngblood. Youngblood 2, is any chance?
All the best. Keanu, one of your faves for sure, but is he your most favorite in the entire world and galaxy? We asked all you guys who your favorite actor was. Let's sort it out as we play this edition of.
No! Your row!
Perfect.
Let us start with the front row. Seton, please respond to this. Who is Paulie's favorite actor?
That bald-headed guy from those movies. He just said his name like 3 minutes ago.
Think actor, though.
Yeah.
You can't give hints. What the heck was that? What was that?
Oh, okay. No, then I'm gonna go back. Is it Paul Newman?
Ooh.
You love Paul Newman.
Wow.
Who's Rebel without a James Dean?
Yeah.
No, it's got to be that bald-headed English guy.
Okay.
Jason Statham.
Let's go with the bald-headed English guy from Transporter 1, 2, and 3. Jason Statham.
Sorry, Statham. Sorry, Edward Norton. I have to go and pour one out for the late Philip Seymour Hoffman.
What? I knew that Seton had no chance to get in there because I do love Jason Statham. I don't know if he's a great actor. He's just great. He doesn't really play any character but himself.
When we were going in to film those too, I went first, right? We all go in a row, and it's like you're almost like we make a booth kind of thing, and like, all right, you just go here and we'll answer these, and nobody can hear. Paul said, "Remember, it's what I think you'll say." That was the words that he said, like almost scolding me, like, "Remember, okay, before you give me, it's what I think you'll say."
Yeah, so I gave Seton great advice. I didn't follow it myself.
Okay, you
Philip
guys
Seymour
are,
Hoffman.
you're out of sync. Let's go to the two guys who are in sync. They dress like they're on a brawny container. To the back row, McLovin. Who did Fritzy said he enjoys the most?
Peter North.
Wow.
Hedgehog.
This is not male actor is the problem. I mean, Sylvia Crisell would be the easy one for female. I'm gonna say, I mean, Todd hasn't seen a movie since 1989.
Cinemax.
Wow, that's okay.
count those. You can
So I'm
count
gonna go. I think Big was the last movie that Todd saw. in
Also
theater.
Peter
When they're on the
North.
piano,
Tom Hanks.
Was it Tom Hanks or Robert
I
Loggia?
like Tom Hanks.
Favorite actor, I'm going to say, this is going to sound ridiculous, but I'm going to say Sylvester Stallone. I just like the Rocky movies that much. But that would be, actually, that would be my second favorite. I'm going to say Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Gene Wilder, favorite actor.
Yeah, I was debating between Sylvester Stallone and Gene Wilder.
When was the last time Gene Wilder was alive?
I told you, he has not seen a movie since 1988.
Yeah, so
This
I'm still
question.
living in the world of.
Really liked
of
him in
Willy
See No
Wonka
Evil,
and
Hear No
Rocky and
Evil.
Jaws,
Fresh
and,
and Stir Crazy.
Great.
That's what I like. Yeah, Stir Crazy was great with Richard Pryor.
Okay, Fritzy,
First
before we
R-rated movie
move
ever saw in
on,
the
please
theater.
give us a Willy Wonka imitation before we go back to the front row.
If you wanna view paradise, take a look around and view it.
You're Willy Wonka.
Back to the.
Anything you dream, do it.
I said good day, sir. Okay, to the front row, Paulie, who
You
is
drank the fizzy
Seton's
lifting
favorite?
drink, therefore
You
you get
stole
nothing
busy
today,
lifting
sir.
drinks. You lose.
Seton's favorite actor. Oh, Peter Sarsgaard.
Oh, man. I'm like, oh, that's who I meant to say. Peter Sarsgaard.
Man, I want to go someone who's not really traditionally cool.
From the Green Lantern.
Topher Grace.
Wrong direction.
This is tough. Brock, who do you think? Who do you guess for Seton?
My guess, I will give you a clue. Just think beautiful. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Good-looking man. Brad Pitt.
Okay. Was it Brad Pitt?
I really like Johnny Depp. I think he's pretty amazing in just about everything he does. Yeah, you know, I'll give you a little more behind the scenes. When they gave me that question, I was like, dude, I don't know. How about Brad Pitt? And I said, no, Johnny Depp. I want to say Johnny Depp. I really like Johnny Depp.
Man.
How about that?
Damn it.
Yeah, I do. I think Johnny Depp is rad.
Damn it.
Finally to the back row, Fritzy, don't let us down. Honda Accord and all. Who is McLovin's favorite leading man?
I was initially thinking like Robert Redford or Al Pacino, but I'm going to go with Gene Hackman.
Well, I think this guy would have been good in one of Gene Hackman's role. Who was it?
My favorite actor of all time? That's easy. Sir Larry Olivier. Yeah, Laurence Olivier. Have you ever heard me talk about the way he played Hamlet, dude?
I've missed that. I've missed a lot of things. Sir Laurence Olivier. I don't recall that.
I would have guessed Crispin Glover for you. He's one of my favorites, and I thought McLovin, you would go off board. Go Crispy Glover.
I'm making my
I have no
lunch.
idea why I said Laurence Olivier. I knew Todd had
There's
no
no way I was
chance.
guessing
I know
that.
Gene Hackman. I'm actually particularly not as big a Gene Hackman fan as everybody else. I mean, he's good, but I think he gets a little overrated. I said it. I know.
I almost guessed Jack Klugman. Would I have been close? Probably not.
Quincy MD.
At least you guessed a guy.
Couple.
The winning row is nobody won. Okay, all right, still to come, there are 2 boiling dishes. Wait for the guys in New York. It's Zagat Reviews after this. Welcome back to the Box Score. We're closing up shop here at the bar. You guys are gearing up for a great big old dinner out there in New York City. Paulie, what's the final word as to which restaurant you're going to be visiting?
Shockingly, Dan was presented with 2 options and chose none of them and said we had to make the decision. So this is a weird one because I think it's down to Seaton's restaurant, McLovin's restaurant. And I don't know how to decide this because I'm not deciding it. And these guys are basically going to have to make their case tomorrow, or I say first one to secure a reservation wins.
How about this? The better question is, Seaton, are you going to be able to show up to work on Friday? You're going to go out and hit it hard on Thursday night?
Well, there have been a lot of questions on if I'm getting a babysitter to stay with me for the night. I don't know, we'll see. I mean, there's a 50-50 chance I'll be there on time.
Okay, high functioning. There are a ton of options out there in the village. I've touched up a couple, all delicious. But you guys found one restaurant in particular that you will not be grubbing at.
If we don't go to the Boil, which was Paulie's suggestion, I did hear good things about the infected pimple and the ingrown toenail. It's just like a few blocks away, so it's still conveniently located.
I know. I did say to Paulie, if we go to the Boil and our waiter's named Lance, then I'm sorry, I won't be able to eat.
It's a system restaurant.
Nice.
It's a crawfish boil. You ever been to a crawfish boil before? It's like a Cajun Creole.
It's right off campus.
That was fun, you know, at Paulie's expense, but he's a good sport. But when he threw out the Boil, I started thinking of dermatology phrases and terms, and I just, you know, we enjoyed that. Yeah, the Boil is probably something. They may have really good food there, and we shouldn't say otherwise unless we try it. But for now, I think we'll steer clear of the Boil and anything else.
If they had chicken parm, Fritzy'd be first one in line.
I would. If we find out it's got really good chicken
I feel
parm,
bad for the Boils management team, Lance and the boys. They're sitting there, and someone's going to text them and say, hey, your restaurant was mentioned on national television today. And then someone's going to get them the video and audio, and they're just going to be like,
YouTube link. And they're like, great. Unfortunately.
Okay, to the man with the big white head in the background, Fritzy, who's on tomorrow?
Hall of Famer Cal Ripken Jr. will help us look ahead to the ALCS and the NLCS. Landon Donovan will be calling in as he gets ready to play in his last U.S. men's national team match. And Rich Eisen, with the new Rich Eisen show on Audience, NFL Network host, will check in from Houston for Colts and Texans Thursday night.
Tough to pick my favorite, Lunchbox Lance or our lead-in, Rich Eisen. Okay, well, thank you for watching The Box Score. Set your DVR or tune in weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on Audience Channel 239 right here on DirecTV. Also catch our podcast available on iTunes or at podcastone.com. To you, Mr. Wonka.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching The Box Score. Holy cow!
This was a presentation of DirecTV, exclusive home of the Red Zone channel, the Fantasy Zone, the Dan Patrick Show, 20 years of NFL Sunday Ticket, the Rich Eisen Show, and America's premier source for sports television.